This week's episode is brought to you by Derek Gerard Photography. Derek has been a professional for over 20 years and covers everything from weddings, corporate shoots, meet and greets and VIP events. He was also one of the club photographers at Dundee Football Club for 13 years. Derek will travel all over Scotland and beyond to capture your smiles, and as a wee thank you to listeners of this show, he'll give you a 20% discount when booking. All you have to do is get in touch via his Facebook page, Derek Gerard Photography, and mention the code CF26. Now, this could save you something like £300 from the cost of your wedding photography, for example. He's a great guy. He's photographed some of my shows in the past, some of the events I've done. I've met the guy. He's a legitimately brilliant photographer and a lovely gentleman, and we thank him very much for sponsoring the show. Welcome back to another episode of Stop Watering Dead Flowers with me, your host, Chris Forbes, in association with the Stand Comedy Club. I shall start another episode yet again with another plague? Wow. Wonderful. I'll start this episode once again with another plug for the Fringe live show of Stop Watering Dead Flowers, which is on August the 20th. It's a Thursday. It'll be wonderful. There's international guests from around the world that will be guesting on the show. All roads lead to the Fringe. Now, that's the next live show we'll be doing at the Stand Comedy Club in Edinburgh on the 20th of August. Check it out. Thanks very much.
Stop watering dead flowers.
I'm delighted to say this week in the garden we've got the wonderful, the multi-faceted and talented Mark Dallas. A wrestling supremo, a comedy performer, and could I say even a viral content creator these days is kind of a thing as well.
I don't like being called that though.
A non-viral content creator. But you've got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies, man. But wrestling's the kind of, obviously, the main first love, and things seem to have branched out from that as you went along.
Aye, wrestling that very much was the first thing that kicked off for me. Before that, I was just a lifeguard. And then I had a hat shop in the Savoy Centre. Then went into... I was a haberdasher, mate.
Really?
Aye, when I was 16-year-old, I was a haberdasher in the Savoy Centre. I used to scale skip hats. I used to get skip hats that all the Neds wore, which makes me sick because now these hats, the specific hats I sold, go for like £750, £800. Aye, drug dealers probably. Like, it's probably the only people that can afford them in Glasgow. But you see them on Facebook. But I used to get them for America. Would get students in American colleges. I'd send them photos of the different styles of hat, like NBA, NFL, NHL, and go, I want these specific types of hat, starter hats, game hats, stuff like that. And then I would go, in return, I'll give you a cut, or I'll send you like Reebok with like the Union Jack on it, or French Connection, or some sort of clothing thing they couldn't get there. And a lot of the time they would just want a wee cut or some cheap item of clothing, and then the hats were all cheap because they were a couple of seasons old, so I'd get them for like $1 and I'd sell them here for like 40-50 quid. I'd always have like a green, white and orange and a red, white and blue one up on the back wall, like Texas Rangers, Miami Dolphins. Somebody come and goes, that you're only one of them? Absolutely, mate. 40 quid, bang, cheers. As soon as the guy walked away, under the desk, bulk suit, follow him, back up, bang, waiting for the next mark, man.
I had no idea that you did that.
Aye.
And a haberdashery is such a satisfying word to say that you don't get to say very often.
Aye, my first endeavour was haberdashery, mate.
Haberdashery.
Aye. A bold move for a 16-year-old.
What? Where were you a lifeguard?
Scots and Leisure Centre.
At Scotstoun. I used to live, we used to say we lived in Scotstoun, but we lived in Yoker. But that's where we used to go. Me and wee James and Kevin. I had a sketch group with Scotstoun Leisure sometimes. I did lifeguard training once for like a summer job.
Aye.
But I remember the job being then pretty easy. But the training there was brutal, actually.
Oh, mate, back then I should have been a young, healthy lad.
Aye.
But I was partying far too much, so it was like on a Wednesday morning, they would no open the pool till like 11, and you would have to do 40 laps. And when you're hungry, I found this out the other week, actually, with my podcast, somebody sent in a photo of me. So it was this sort of like building site, right? And they had like a health and safety thing in the wall. and there's a guy getting CPR on the flare, passed out, and it's me. And I was like, why is this in this bone site? That was taken when I was training to be a lifeguard in like 2007, right?
Wow.
And this was this year. Somebody for it went, we were talking about lookalikes one day. And somebody went, I found one. This guy looks a W. And I went, that is me. That's me on that fucking poster, right? So I was like, what is that doing in a building site in 2026? But I remembered where it came from. It was when I was doing my lifeguard training, which was hellish, doing the deep dive and all that stuff. They asked to take some photos for a training book. The training books are out a date every 2 years, so I thought, oh, well, that'll be long gone. But they also did a video, and I remember this because I was wearing a white shirt, council shirt, because I was doing training, and the day before I'd been at a party, and I drank a full bottle of Southern Comfort, right? So this ended up in a training video for Glasgow Life, right? And it's me doing a spinal turn. So their spine's kaput, mate, right? Their spine's done, mate. It's gone. The spine's gone, mate.
That's the technical term when you do the training.
Your spine's gubbed, right? So my job would be then, I put my hand under your head and my arm on your spine as a kind of board, and put my hand on your chin, and I would spin you round and then kick to the side. So in the video, it's me spinning round, and I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost, man. I'm whiter than the t-shirt. I'm whiter than the guy. I look like he's holding me up. I look like he's helping me float to the side. I'm like, that was in a training video for Glasgow Life. This is how you do it the right way. Like a fucking zombie, mate.
End of Titanic, you're jacked. Just like,
I'm one of the guys in the water, man, just floating.
this is incredible. Past lives, man. Wonderful. So, I mean, we always like to have a bit of a chat before we get into the podcast format. So I'm curious how, and I'm sure it's stuff you've spoken about lots, but going from that into starting wrestling and you must have had an interest in wrestling and growed up being a fan of it. But what was the spark that made you think you could do something with it over here?
It was about 14 years old. So I watched it when I was a kid. When every house could get Sky. If you had a communal dish on the type of thing, your granda could program in like Sky 1 and Sky Sports 1. So I watched it for then, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, all that stuff. Fell away from it, didn't watch it for years. Then walked into my wee brother's room and we got NTL in when I was like 14. And he was watching it, and it was a bit where I can remember the exact clip. It was so weird that I ended up working with him years later. It was The Rock was hitting Mick Foley off a seating bank into a big load of like sound speakers, and they all exploded. And I was like, "What is this you're watching?" He was like, "It's the wrestling." I said, "This is the fucking wrestling with Kamala and all that." And he's like, "No, this is different now." Hey, Mark. Sorry, I fucking keep saying as if it's my son because he's into wrestling now. It's my wee brother that was watching it. And I was like, all right. So I started watching it, and I was just like, fuck, I love this. And then on late at night, I would tape a show called Extreme Championship Wrestling that would be on at 4 in the morning. And this was more rebellious, more hardcore, more blood and swearing and all that stuff. It was on Bravo. Do you remember the channel Bravo? It was on there at like 3 in the morning. So I'd tape that during the night, and I'd watch the hour-long show before school. And I was getting right into it. And then I found a training school. And I went to training school, and that's where I met Drew McIntyre. Famous pro wrestler McIntyre. I've known him since we were 14 when he was covered in acne.
No
I met him in
way.
Central Station. We went to Falkirk to train, man. With a guy called the Mean Street Jerry Barrea, who never went on to do anything, man. We thought he was a pure big pro wrestler and all that, right? And we found out years later that he'd had like one match down in England, and then they put him at the van and duct taped him to a pole at the side of the motorway and left him there. Which you wouldn't do now, right? But it was funny at the time, right? I wouldn't do it, but I would laugh at it if I saw it. Would have walked right, you know what I mean? And so we eventually found out, oh fuck, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, went and trained somewhere else. And then at the time, even back then, Paul Heyman was kind of somebody I looked up to, was more into the inner workings of the business. I'd buy this magazine every month called Power Slam that tell you the behind the scenes stuff. So I knew then, if you're about the age of 15, I want to write the show. I want to be the guy that puts it all together. That seems dead interesting. So it started for then. But at the time, the reason I started training was because back then it was a closed off industry. Now it's like a fucking jazzercise class. You can just type in wrestling and go, I'm going to be a wrestler now. I can't walk too fit along the street, mate, with somebody going, I know somebody that's a wrestler. It's like,
Is that right?
everybody, mate, there's about 700 wrestlers now in Scotland, and I'm like, that's too many wrestlers, right? But,
It's similar to comedy, really, isn't it?
Well, there you go, man.
Comedy's exploded. There's too many comedians.
it just shows how much it blew up, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. But, aye, it's just like every other day. The taxi down here, my nephew's a wrestler. Well, what's his name? No, I don't even know him. But it was, you had to get in order to know people that you could get to be on a show, hire a wrestling ring, all that stuff. So to even be able to put on a show, you had to get in. So I had to train. And that's kind of how that all started. So that was kind of the infancy of that. And then I ran my first show in 2006 in the Maryhill Community Central Halls. And it was abysmal, and it went really bad. We had like barbed wire, fucking somebody with a light tube, it went over the ring, and there was like 50 people in the crowd. And I had an old wrestler on the show for ECW, funnily enough, called Tracy Smothers, R.I.P. Tracy, an old legend that's no longer with us. But he wrestled a bear once in Memphis, a real live bear. And what happened is, before he went out, somebody put honey in their horn and slapped him on the back and went, good luck out there, Tracy. And he was a young guy at the time. The bear's got a muzzle on, right? But that's where the clip for semi-pro comes from. The Will Ferrell. That's for that, mate. That's the setup for that.
Reference to that.
Aye, that's the reference, aye. So he was on the show, I'm backstage, I'm downtrodden. I went, well, that didn't work. Oh, no, man. A wee tiny guy, no money. Oh, shit. Lost a lot of money. And then he came back and went, hey, kid, I'm sitting my boat of Buckfast. And he was for like, what was he for? Like Knoxville or Nashville or somewhere down there. And he was like, can I have a drink of that? And I went, aye. He took a drink. He went, God damn, that's disgusting. And I was like, aye, mate, it's an acquired taste. And he was like, what are you down for? And I said, well, I thought this would work. And he gave me this big, massive pep talk that, you know what I mean, you just need to keep going and keep going. You never know what might happen. And he says, I've been on shows one week that have got 10,000 people there, and the next week on a show it's got 50 people there. He says, you just never know, and it might hit someday. And if it wasn't for him saying that, I don't think I'd have continued on. So then I went on to run my second show, which was even worse because I ran the same day as an Old Firm game.
Oh, boy.
So it was like...
There was already a lot of wrestling going on that
and
day.
I had somebody like use a cactus and they got hitting the balls with it. And I don't know if you've ever tried to remove barbs for somebody's balls, cactus barbs. It's no designed to come out. Barbs are meant to stick in. They've got wee tiny things in them that
Aye.
Oh. So I don't know how we got them out, but I gave him an extra 20 quid. I was like, sorry about that. You know what I mean? Times were rough, mate. I got 30 people in. What do you want from me? Blood for a stone? I've not got any money. I'm skint again. So I done that and then just kept going. Ran a couple more shows. Then stopped. Met my missus. Became a lifeguard. Had my son. And then I was sitting in a homeless flat. We had to put our name down in the house and then had to go into a homeless flat in the Red Road flats.
Oh, aye.
Aye. And I was looking there in fact, I'll tell you this first to set the scene a wee bit. The street I stayed in, I was sitting going, fuck me, this is depressing where I'm staying right now. But you had to stay there for a while to go in the house and be fast-tracked because she was preggers. You know what I mean? Okay. That means you get fast-tracked a bit, then you can get a house. Aye. And I was like, right, we need a house, we've got away. I'm working a council job, I'm only 19. 20, right? And I'm watching the telly on a Friday night and it goes Secret Millionaire Zone, right? And it's in Postal, and it's like how it's talking about how rough it is and the life expectancies, this and that. And it cuts to a shot of my high flat, 123 Peters Hill Drive in the Red Road flats, pans up to my window, 27 up, and kind of zooms in. It's no live or anything, right? But I'm like, what the fuck, man? When I'm already feeling down, right? Yeah. So that's how rough this area is. Somebody stole the security door off the front of the building. Now, let me say that again, right? Slower. Somebody stole the security door off the front of the high flat. That's for security. Some cunt stole it and took it to the scrappy, right? No. Then I'm watching the news a couple of days later and they're going, the highest concentration of refugees in Western Europe and poverty and this and that is in Red Road. It must have been stock footage again. Yeah. Up my window. The exact same bit of footage, and I'm like, what is going on here, man, right? And that night, I'm going, this is so depressing. And I'm looking at the bedroom window, but we're so high up, you're so close to the city centre, all the lights and all that, right? It looks fucking beautiful. Glasgow at night, for a high point of view, a high vantage point. I've got goosebumps when I'm thinking about it, right? I love Glasgow. And fucking, I'm looking at it and I'm going, this can't be off of me. I'm like, I remember exactly thinking that, like, this can't be everything for me, man. I've got to be something. This can't be it now, like, I'm just going to be a dad and have a shite job and fucking get old. And then that's what it popped at me right there. Right then and there, I was like, I'm going on a wrestling show again. And then that's when the ICW that everybody knew that blew up started, the next year.
No way.
Aye. We went to the wee hall in the community central halls this time, then to the big hall, then for the big hall, into the city centre. First company to start running nightclubs. And then for there, it was like Apollo 23, which is now Highlight. Then the Classic Grand, then the Garage, then the ABC, then the Barrowlands, then the Hydro, SEC, then Hydro.
That's mad, isn't it?
Aye.
It's amazing that you can chart it. Again, it's so similar to kind of people that have had comedy careers, like starting out, trying to get a gig and few people and building up to big gigs. But the production side of wrestling is so much bigger and all the things you have to think about.
It'll cost a fortune and all.
But nice to know you actually had that thought, because so many people would be in that position and just go, I guess that is it. Whereas it's nice that you had a spark of going, no, I want to do something.
Oh, back then it was some of the most fun because it didn't have the production. It was literally a curtain on a door, a wrestling ring, a speaker. We had a tape deck plugged into it, and then that was it. And it was like, but it was the show. That's what was drawing everybody. Right. It was like, have you seen this mental show aimed at adults? Yeah. But it's all Scottish-centric characters, and you can bring a bevy with you. And it became this kind of hip fucking Glasgow thing to go and see. Yeah. And then the missing piece of the puzzle was moving to a nightclub. Because nightclubs have all got a different aesthetic. Right. So they've all got a cool look. Like the background of a level in Mortal Kombat or something. So they all look slightly different. But they've already also got a lighting rig. They've also got a good sound system. So you've already got that all inbuilt. And then for there you build. And then when you get to the bigger venues, you start getting all the bullshit like fucking a Section 89 for a raised platform after council when you do like the Hydro. And then they come down to your fucking training school, right? With some guy in a wee high vis. And I go, right, there's the ring. Do you want to check it? And he goes, aye, looks fine. And I go, it was £500. I went, is that it, right? I went, do you know what to check it for structural integrity or anything? And he's like, and gives it a kick like a car tyre. It kicks a post and goes, no, it's sound. And I went, so that cost me £500. And he went, aye, I'll catch you later, mate. Bounced out the door.
Wow.
Aye. So you've got all these wee hidden things, and then you've got to hire hunters of lights and sound, and then you've got to hire directors and producers and
insurance must be mad for
mate, aye.
shows like that. With the risk of injury.
Aye, crazy, mate.
And death.
Crazy, man. The amount of money you need to pay each year.
This sounds like a mad question, but just when you're talking about the different things you can get, and the space and lights, and certain venues already have these things, but where do you get a wrestling ring? Like, where do people get a ring? So you need to get one fabricated. I bought my first one after, do you remember World of Sport with like Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and that? I bought one of the rings they used to have, and it was a bag of shite, man. So I got that for $2,000 if you're doing in England. And it was literally like, if you look at old clips of the wrestling on the telly with Big Daddy and that, there's a canvas where it's like ropes in the shape of a star. I've got that I've not got it anymore, but that came with that canvas, right? That's pure for the 70s, man. You know what I mean? Fucking Kendall Nakasaki's been rolling about this fucking wrestling ring, and it was awful, man. It was like getting hit with a bus, like bumping in this thing, right? And it still exists to this day. I sold it to a guy who was moving to Romania, and apparently he's still going to his training school. And my mate Damo told me that it's still out there. It must be held together with like tape and all that now, man. Do you know what I mean? It's historic.
Mate, it's just but you get it fabricated, and you get American style ones and all that. They've got like a wee spring underneath in the middle. You get different types of ropes and stuff. You can either get actual rope or you can get like elevator cables. Aye.
So just like any other sporting equipment, there's different types and brands, and
people prefer different ones and stuff like that. But you can get a wrestling ring for about 3,000. I got a wrestling ring once out of somebody's garden. A guy wanted to make a computer game for me, and he went, I want to make a computer game for the company in one condition. I went, name it. And I thought he was going to say a ridiculous amount of money, and I was going to say no thanks. He went, I need you to take a wrestling ring off me. I was like, what? I was like, I'll come down and get it. got a van, one of the boys went down. He's somewhere, I can't remember what it was. And I was, this guy's garden, out in the garden, no under a canopy or anything, just sitting out in the guy's back garden, was a fucking 18-foot American high spots wrestling ring, right? And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, we're taking this to now. I was like, you can make me a computer game. I was like, it's fucking $5,000 wrestling ring. So whenever we went to a bigger venue, that's the ring we used.
Is that right?
Because 16-foot was what we used most of the time, 16 by 16.
What's this guy up to? I want to know about.
And 18.
I want to know more about this guy. I like to think
Well,
no children, no family, but sometimes if he was bored, he would just go into his back garden and bounce back.
It gets weirder. It gets weirder. He made like all the start of the game. It was advertised. It was in like the papers and all that. There was like shots of Grado in the garage, but it's all on a computer game.
Really?
And then he just vanished, and I've never heard of him since. So the game was announced at our SEC show. It's got to be on like PlayStation Network and all that. Then there was like images. I remember we had boys down that worked for me, like Stevie Boy and Kenny Williams, doing motion capture in the ring. So we filmed all the motion capture with the wee ball, the suits with the wee balls in it, and like everybody doing all the different moves. Took like 2 days to do it, because there's that many wrestling moves. And then he just, but like vanished. Social media, everything just vanished. Like deleted all his pages. Never heard from him again.
Sounds like he went through a lot of effort just to get rid of that wrestling ring.
That's me done. Threw the rings away. Just walked into the sea, man.
Of course, you see, mention that SEC show, and then I promised to anyone that's like, when are you going to start the format as well? But the SEC show, I almost forget, but then every so often it pops up on my phone, and it's one of my favourite photos because I watched wrestling as a kid and loved it, but one of my favourite photos is getting to meet Mick Foley because he was at that show.
Lovely guy.
And it was the Grado connection through Scott Squad, and of course Manny was there, myself, I think it was Officer Karen Barker, and we had to come in and haul Grado away. And who was it? Darren turns up and he got beat up or something by him, or there was a bit of a crossover.
It was Darren, something to do with Lionheart and Darren.
That was it. Darren was just in the crowd shouting. That's right, getting huckled over the
so Lionheart
fence.
pulped me over the fence, but because it's these crowd barriers on the side, inside the barrier. So on the side of the crowd, it's straight, flat. But in the inside where the stage is, it's obviously got like a sort of triangle bit that hodges the barrier up.
Yeah.
So he fell onto that.
So
he flipped there onto that. So Lionheart's lost, gone up the ramp, clocks him, pulls him air. And then it's all gone great, apart from him breaking his rib. He was still out that night at the cat house, man. So he must have not been that bad. But then go up the ramp, he's acting Billy Big Bollocks. Music hits, you walk out, arrest him. And then we filmed a bit in the back where I got arrested because I looked like the character I played in the Scott Squad. And I was like, I swear I'm not him, not. And Joe was there, no?
That's right.
Joe was there too. But the thing that threw me was because Grado was in it. It was really big. It was like the hot thing in Scottish like comedy sitcom thing. I thought you would get cheered.
Oh, yeah.
No realising our crowd would boo the Polish.
Because it was the Polish,
But it was one of the epiphanies where as soon as they started booing, I went, of course.
Yeah.
I went, why did I think this crowd would cheer the Polish?
I loved it. I felt like the big boss man coming out.
Like, oh, you were out your chest and that. It was brilliant, mate. It was brilliant. I remember that, man. It was class.
I remember trying to put, because I didn't want it to make it too obvious, but I tried to put my phone like in the top pocket with the video camera on so I could watch back what it was like me walking out, but it didn't really work.
It's surreal in it, man.
I was.
It's surreal.
I was like, I can see why this would be so addictive.
Aye.
Walking out.
It is mega addictive.
Gladiatorial.
Because I left ICW 2.5 years ago, like to try other things.
Aye.
And then I missed wrestling, so then Grado went, you got any interest? No, it was somebody went, you want to come to a show at Braehead Arena as a bad guy manager? And I was like, you know what, I'll see some pals I've not seen in a while.
Yeah.
And then Grado went, oh, you back doing shows? And I was like, no. And he went, what, do my show? And I went, I'll do the pavilion, mate. Aye, that sounds fun. So do the pavilion, see a couple of mates. Because it's backstage a laugh when you're no running the show.
Yeah, I bet.
But after 18 years, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Mate, it's like every day there's always an issue. You're dealing with 30 fucking mental cases. You've got like shows every fucking week, right? You're always got. I had a TV show that didn't have seasons. Aired in 36 countries, then it was on the WWE. This was for 8 years, mate. Every week of the year, we edited, produced, wrote, put out a fucking TV show. I had a TV show in Iraq. How's that? Mate, I didn't know that you could show wrestling in Iraq.
I didn't realise that it was that massive.
Female
you know?
wrestling, is that alright in Iraq? But it must have been, mate, because ICW was owning Iraq, mate. Do you know what I mean? We had a show in Canada and all that, right? We were on Italian telly every Friday night on a channel called Nuvolari. But after a while, I was just like, I'm burnt out. I'd signed with WWE, so we weren't the rebellious company anymore. I stayed to get paid off WWE,
Right.
of course, because it was finally time to get paid for my family. They'd sacrificed enough. Now it was like payday, because even when it was flying high, like the costs were so high that I was making an alright living, but everything that was coming in was going out, constant, and it was like we were growing that high that if it tripped and slipped a couple of times, it could all come tumbling down. And then Triple H goes, "Do you want 250,000 a year?" And I'm like, "Aye, mate." No bother. So I didn't at first. It's like, aye.
It's so
The
mad.
first 2 times I said no, and then eventually they were like, "Look, we're going to sign all your guys for this new company we're starting in the UK." I was like, "Fuck, right, well, there's all my stars." But a TV show, imagine like fucking like a Vida saying pet, and they're like, "We're going to take everybody but Jimmy Neal." You know what I mean? I'm sure it would do all right. Grado's Jimmy Neal. Right, so it's like they said that, and then he went, "And also, we'll give you this money." I went, "Oh, fuck it, we'll put you in WWE Network." And then because of an internal battle between him and Vince McMahon, we didn't air for 3 years. So that kind of killed our momentum and all.
How wild though to be sitting there. I mean, you were in it for so long that maybe it didn't feel that surreal, but the fact that you're like hashing out business agreements with Triple H is just kind of surreal.
Mate. People go, I mean, if I saw Triple H, I would just told him this and that. It's like, you'd have told them fuck all, mate. Guys built it outside their house, and then you got William Regal sitting there. Sometimes you're just sitting there in these things going, what the fuck is my life? Like, what is going on? You're sitting drinking red wine with Kevin Nash or something. Do you know what I mean? After a show, and you're just like, right,
it's interesting to hear that there is actual internal battles, because you know it's so big at that level in WWE that you sometimes think, is some of the real life stuff just for show as well, with the fallouts between, you know, Vince McMahon, Triple H, but because things spill over into reality as well.
I mean, it's corporate wrestling. It's like it's a corporate entity. There will always be that, like Succession. There will always be that corporate struggle. And Vince, I've never met him, but for what I heard, he was a fucking psychopath to deal with in business, like turn on a dime. And I think he saw Triple H as a guy that was coming to succeed him. A succession for big trips, man. And so maybe he just gave him shit sometimes. In part, we were caught in the crossfire, us launching in the WWE Network, and then he launched for ages. And then I went and done Grado shows and that, and then Damo, my mate that I was managing at Bray, he phoned me one night. I was lying in bed. He went, "I think I got you a job in India." I was like, "Hold on." I was like, "Hen, I'm my bird. I've got to go into the next room for a minute." I was like, "Fuck do you mean, Damo?" And in India, he went, "I'm going to put you on the phone with this guy in 2 minutes. You've got to be a producer. You've got to help with the writing and that of this show in India. It's a TV show." He went, "They've got more money than fucking sense, man." I was like, "Right, put me on the phone." And then I was like, I went back into bed. So my bird's not heard any of this. She's just lying in bed watching the telly. I've walked back in. I went, "Helen, I'm going to go and work in India." And she's like, "What? When?" I went, "About 3 weeks." About 3 weeks' time. Go to India for a week.
That's mad.
Produce a wrestling show.
I feel like I get that reaction when I come in and say I'm doing a gig in Peebles. She's like, "What?"
But that was what I was doing. I was out there, and then we left that company because there was some internal struggles with management. Like one of the bosses, the other three, and there was a kind of thing that I'll not go into because it's his story to tell. But we sided with the good guy, and we left a lot of money on the table, and I was gutted. And then I ended up selling 3 Bentley's pies to recoup some of the lost money, man. I can say this now, right? Don't clip this. Please don't clip this bit, right?
Frentos pies are shite.
No, I've been waiting to say this, right? Do you know in my contract, right? They've paid me the other week, so fuck them, right? It said in my contract that I couldn't mention for 4 weeks after the video went out. They paid me a lot of money, man. I couldn't mention that the pies are stinking. I had a non-disclosure agreement with a Frey Bentley's pie. I wasn't allowed to publicly say these pies. I'd signed an NDA for a pie, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I guess that makes sense, though. You can't be slagging them off if you're...
But here, I'll say this, it's not that bad. Like, I think I built up my head.
That was
when I done the taste test.
Free Pentos pies. They're not that bad.
They're no, mate. It's a tin pie. Like, you know what I mean? What you expecting? If you're expecting some Gordon Ramsay shit,
This is reminding me of big shout out to Steve Buchanan over there, the old Some Laugh Pod, he got too drunk before their live show that was sponsored by White Mackay, and he kept slacking off White Mackay. They were like, "Can you not do that, please?" Yeah, you got to be careful, I guess. A reminder that this week's episode is sponsored by Derek Gerard Photography. Derek Gerard Photography. Great snapper.
Aye, but now I'm to pull you right up to Monday. I know this has gone on too long.
No, it's great.
He started a new company, so I helped set up. So before coming in to see you this morning, they were like, "Can you set up all the social media channels?" And I was like, "The new." So I had to set up every and then put the video up. So my phone is like the Toastbuster for Ghostbusters right now in my pocket. It's gone bush, man, because we've just announced a company in India. India's pretty big, man. For a lot of people in India, man. So fucking my phone's got a lot of Aye. But that's on to the next adventure, man.
Listen, this actually sets it up perfectly then for delving into the podcast, because you have lived a life. It feels like you've been all over the place, met a lot of different people. So when it comes to looking at what this podcast deals with, I feel like you'll have many a story to tell. And how are you generally with stuff when it comes to things that maybe stick in your mind and haunt you? Are you quite good at letting things go? Or
No,
do you let
certain things. But then the weirdest things will be things that I'll think about in the shower.
Aye.
Or lying in bed or with a hangover.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just horrible.
It's the innocuous ones. In fact, just because this happened on Saturday, I thought I'll tell another one of my own. I used to always start every episode with one because I feel like I've got one every week, and they're ridiculous. But I just got these shoes.
It's always the most mundane stuff, but to you, it's like, why is that the thing I'll never forget?
I've not stopped
You know what I mean?
thinking about this particular person's face, because I went to get some new shoes, these ones that I'm currently wearing. I did not buy them from the place I went, but it's not called Athlete's Foot. That'd be terrible. Achilles Heel.
I just up there?
Just up in Great Western Road, right? And I went in, and it was
Sponsored by Achilles Heel.
and I'd never been into like a proper, I think that's like a proper running shop, but I was just
it
looking
is.
for a pair of good trainers for walking about the kids. And I said to the guy, "Look, is there a big difference? This looks like quite serious running stuff." And he was like, "No, well, we can tell what one's maybe best for your foot, even if you're not too bad." And I says, "Well, how do you tell that?" And he went, "Well, we just walk you up and down the shop." And I went, "Oh, saucy." And to say he did not react is an understatement. Like, he really just looked at me like, why is this customer just went, "Oh, saucy"?
I think
It
that's
was
him.
so
I think
awkward.
I know, he's a prick. Like, that's funny, mate.
I thought it was quite
Aye,
funny.
that's a good line.
Because he was like, "We'll just watch you walking up and down." And I went, "Oh, saucy." And he just went, just no reaction. And I was like, "Oh, so like, because you were," and then I was so awkward. So then I just clocked the ones I wanted and bought them online. I'm sorry. I've lost them a sale there.
You probably saved a fortune. That's, you're part of the reason the high street's dying, mate.
I did. I know.
So, mate, I went nuts on Amazon the other day.
God.
Aye.
You've been in.
I was in IKEA and I went, "This isn't the prices I remember." And I was like, "My bird, we're out of here, man." Amazon, Temu. Look, Temu do furniture or nothing. I'll be covered in chemicals, but we die something. You know what I mean?
You become the guy that's just kicking something to check it. It's fine.
I got a pillow once off Temu.
Oh, aye.
Aye, I got a memory foam pillow, and then I got the fear.
It's just filled
After
with
a day,
asbestos.
mate, I was probably like, "What is this sprayed with?" It didn't smell anything, but then after about 2 days, I went, "Hen, I'm getting rid of them, man." And she's like, they're dead comfy. I was like, "No, they're gone.
Of course they're
They're in the
comfy.
bin already."
Just filled with loads of children's hair that's been shaved off, stuck in a bag.
Homeless men's toenails, man.
Right, well, this bodes well, because it sounds like you're going to have a good few stories. We usually like to start with a childhood one. There's usually a lot from childhood, but was there one in particular that reared up and was like, "You'll never forget me, Mark"?
There's actually two that stick out for me.
Yes.
The first one, I'll say very quickly, was just first period in school.
I thought you were going to say it was my first period. I'll never forget it.
Never forget it. And it was first period, first block, whatever they call it now, in school, secondary school, and we were doing PE outside, and somebody scanted me Fruit of the Looms, man. No. And it was, everybody laughed. Yeah. No, I'm not saying, you know what I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but everybody laughed. No, it's not me saying like what I'm packing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was winter. It was first block. It's outside. Do you know what I mean? PE. I'm not ready, man. Do you know what I mean? Even somebody with a hog's going to have a piglet in the conditions, man. And then just as everybody's laughing, all the lassies and that, I'm going, fuck me, man, this is bad. The female PE teacher turns around and has a nice wee chuckle. No, this must have lasted all like 7 seconds or something, right? But see, in my mind, the bell rang for the end of the school day, man. Do you know what I mean? It was like super slow motion, man. Fucking just like right now. Nobody was probably pointing me, but in my head, everybody's like,
And when you think
look
back
at your banger, man.
That's the, and I tell you, just as an aside as well, because I feel like there was not a divide, but it felt like you either called it getting scanted or skegged. Because where I grew up, it was people get skegged.
I know, I heard that.
But then I used to then, maybe then because I moved down to Central Belt, more people said getting scanted. But shout out to any skeggers out there. But it was bad enough if someone got you and they didn't catch your actual underwear, like it was just your trousers. Right. But if they got the full shebang.
Oh, mate, there was a boy who was...
Game over.
Now the bar for chin-ups, there was one above the door that let you into the gym hall, and he was holding onto it. And somebody scanned him, and the teacher turned round into the door, which had windies, so his banger's just there. He's swinging trousers with his ankles. And the teacher came in and gave him into trouble, sent him into class. The boy's just fucking got his banger pulled out, and he's the one getting shit for it.
Oh, God.
It was a different time, man. Do you know what I mean? We only sensitive.
Isn't it mad, though? It's like, getting scanted, really, you live in fear of that as a wee guy.
That was my only time. That was the thing.
You used to tie your knots so tight if you had something not like.
That was the thing. The fear. You're absolutely right. And that was the time where it was like my brain went, "Oh no, it's finally happened." And it's not just happened. There's everybody here. And then the cherry on top was where was the teacher then? Fucking turning around and having a nice wee chuckle to herself. You know what I mean? Having a wee chuckle to yourself.
Look at that.
Then I've got to go and play shinty. You know what I mean? Fucking get it, man. I walked away, I was like, no, fuck this.
There'll be a lot of people with affinity for that story, because that must have been the most common, embarrassing type of thing that could happen on a playground or in
It was
school.
a rite of passage back in the day, man. Getting scanted out, playing with your pals.
That and getting your shoes christened, which you're
hated
like, come on.
Aye. Some people took it a bit too serious and just tried to break their toes.
They were just pissed off you had new shoes. And you're fucking... Anyway, getting too good. I'm thinking of one in particular. I finally got a pair of kickers I was wanting. Anyway, what was the other childhood one?
Oh, it was down the backs. So the tenements down the backs where I used to play, where it was the bin shoots. So I was out the backs, right? Out the backs of the tenements. When I was playing away, 8-year-old, got into an argument with a boy, and he battered me, right? Just battered me. Now at that size, that condensed size that I was, I can still remember it to this day. Like, it's as if the whole world, like watching an episode of Peep Show, like if they just went like that with the camera, like I was just going and spinning about, getting battered, man, right? And then I've stormed up the stairs in the backs, up the close, into the house. My granda, McVickers in, with his wee snout and all that, looking at the back window. Just get battered there, son. Like, aye, Grandpa. And he went, gave me a big, and he's like, oh, no. He went, son, doesn't matter if you lose a fight. What matters is you stand up for yourself. And I think next he's got to say, I'm proud of you. And he goes, so get back down there and batter him. No, I'm like, no, I've not lived in the real world by this point, right? I've been, back then movies were very different.
Yeah.
You didn't have all these twists and turns. Everything worked out in the end. Know what I mean? Any way you wanted. There was always like triumph.
This will be my redemption arc.
I'm hinting. Because that's all I know of reality.
Yeah.
So in my brain, I'm going, I'm going to go down here. And I went down the stair and got fucking leathered again, right? Leathered. So this time I get up.
Shouldn't laugh.
Not laugh away. This time I get up and I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I go across the backs. And at the other side is my great granny's house. And my other side of the family, my dad's granny.
Time for proper words of advice.
So I'm going up there to get away from my granda and my mum. I'm not going back up there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there. Up is down, left is right, and all that. Black is white. The world's fucking topsy-turvy. I've just been leathered twice. Movies are shit, right? It's not real, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? This is a pure life moment, man. Yeah. So I go up the stairs and go in. My granny Gertie's there. She's like, how'd you get? what happened to you? And it was like that. Oh, I got battered, Granny. And she's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And she's like that. You're going to go back down there. You're going to batter him. And I was like, Granny, I've just been battered twice. And she's like, maybe don't go back down there then.
Finally saw sense. I love that she just had the same advice. It's obviously something that's been passed through your family.
Back then it was like you need to...
Get
No, it was
back
both
down
sides of my
there.
family.
Oh,
that was my
God.
dad's
And then
granny and then my mom's dad.
Get back down.
Get back down there and fight him.
I wonder how many times people would have kept sending you down if you did keep going down.
I'm going to different closes, people. I don't even know that. Get back down there. He's letting me loose.
I kind of like to think that
Walking in
really...
the corner into the Chinese Andes and I'm like, Andy, mate, can I just sit here for a bit?
Get back down there. Take a bag of prawn crackers and use it. I like to think that was really the first seedlings of maybe wanting to become a wrestling company owner.
You think that'd put me off it? Or maybe I'm like, I like pretend fighting.
Now you're like, now I can write a better outcome.
I like pretend fighting. Pretend fighting's a lot better than this.
I love that. Get back down there
Get
as well.
back down there. I got leathered again. Da-da. Battered, man.
Wow. A childhood well lived, but well fought, man. You're getting scanted, you're getting battered.
Aye.
Let's move on.
Young boy about town, man. Make moves, living life, getting scattered.
We'll leave childhood behind and we'll move on. You've told us, like, career-wise, you were doing loads of things before the wrestling as well. But when you think of a career one, does that come from the wrestling industry? Because I feel like you must have met loads of interesting folk.
Oh man, there's so many ones to wrestling that I can think of.
And as you say, wrestling probably does lend itself to a lot of pretty mental people. Like,
Mate, like if you want to be a wrestler, like there's got to be something wrong with you, man. If you want to be in the wrestling business, you're no right in the head, man.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you, but in the best way possible.
Aye.
A lot of the time, right? But everybody's a bit half-set. It's like the travelling circus, mate.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it used to be like. It was wild, man. Everybody was just fucking bonkers, man. And so there's a few, but there's like I'm torn between the one with Bret Hart and the one with Dean Sullivan. I think I'll tell the Dean Sullivan one, because the Bret Hart one's no as hangy. That was just Bret Hart kind of took umbrage to me accepting a piece that he offered me, a sandwich. He offered me a sandwich that he didn't want to eat in a travel lodge, and kept going on about it until I ate it and all that. And then and then he smirked, a wee tiny smirk, and I was like, is he bamming me up? Is this whole thing been him trying to get me to eat this? And then I phoned Grado. He was in Orlando and there was a storm. And he was like, mate, there's a storm, we've just bought us a bevy and we're all barricaded in the hotel, they've boarded up all the windies, we've all stood in the middle of the building, and just stay on the phone to me and talk to me, let's just have a laugh. And I'm like, aye, cool. And then I thought, he's like, what you been up to? I went, well, I was doing meeting Bret Hart, doing meeting Kurt Angle to try and get me to the show, and Bret Hart came and sat next to me, and he had a club sandwich. He went, do you want this my club sandwich? And I was like, no, mate, it's all right. And he's like, it's a really nice club sandwich, and kept saying it. And even when the conversation changed, kept going back, and eventually went, aye, and then a bit, and I was like, this is fucking barking, man. And I think he knew it was stinking, and then he smirked, and I was like, this cunt, but you're not going to say to Bret Hart, he'd leather me, man, right? So I'm telling Grado all this, and he goes, Bret Hart made you eat his fucking piece, and he's telling everybody, oh no, the TNA roster, on speakerphone, that, and I'm like, and I can hear somebody in the background going, does that mean his ass? And I went, no. I'm shouting, tell them I didn't rim Bret Hart, mate. I didn't rim Bret Hart. Peace means sandwich. Just shouting to some guy from Cincinnati or something. Peace means sandwich, mate. But I was like, oh, fuck, my one interaction with Bret Hart, I think he was trying to ban me up.
I had a poster. He was one of the posters I had.
Aye. I was listening to his book, yeah. Walking down here.
Aye.
It's brilliant, man. I read it years ago and then got the Audible one. But the story I'll tell you is about Dean Sullivan, right? So Dean Sullivan we made a documentary years ago for the BBC. We made two. It was called Insane Fight Club 2. You can probably get it on YouTube. And we were doing a tour around the UK, right? So we'll go to different places to promote our upcoming tour with a camper van.
Right.
So it was me, Jester, and Grado. And eventually we'd have different people join us at different points, like Chris Toll and that. And we were in Liverpool, and the producers went, "We've got a wee surprise for you." And they drove us around to Brookside Close, which is a real place.
Aye.
Brookside Close actually
didn't
exists.
realise it.
And the woman came out and shouted at us, see where the Brookside sign is on her garden. She went, "What you doing here? Fucking blah, 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 blah." And I went, "Whoa, sorry, what's up?" And she's like, "Busloads of Japanese tourists, no, Chinese tourists, come round here every day and stand in my garden and take photos of us." And I went, "Why Chinese tourists?" She went, "It's just started airing in China."
Oh, no
Brookside is big in China, right? So all these Chinese tourists come and get photos in her garden. She's furious. Her plants are getting stood on and that, right? Just because that's where that famous sign is. Now the bit at the start of the intro of the video. And we went, "No, listen, we're meeting Dean Sullivan here." Our tune completely changed, man, right? Dean, we filmed this bit where Dean comes round and meets us. You know, walking about Liverpool. And let me tell you, man.
Is he just proper iconic?
You need to walk about Liverpool with Dean. I walked about India with Jinder Mahal at WWE. He was a former world champion, right? And this was like with security and all that, right? This is up there with it. This was like John Lennon walking about Liverpool. This was like Jesus walking about fucking Liverpool.
It was huge, man.
Aye, but mate, there's people running across roads and they're getting hit. And I was, "Oh, for fuck's sake," right, mate? Honestly, everywhere, right? And he's just taking us about everywhere. And we're having a great time. Fucking great time. And he's having some laugh and all that. And he takes us down to this boat. This mad nutter ran a boat that was at the front, on the waterfront. And it was like a bar, right? But having a good laugh and that. Dean's like, "I think I'll stay out." And we're like, we've got to get mad with it tonight with Dean Sullivan, man. Jimmy Corkill on the tiles, man, right? We're going out with Big Jimmy. And we're sitting there, so we have 2 or 3 drinks. And I'm like, "This looks familiar." And Grady goes, "Aye." He goes, This is where they filmed This Morning. Remember This Morning?" Right? And I go, "No, dangerous what is, mate?" I went, "That must be where the map used to be."
Oh, aye, out in the water. Man.
That's where the map used to be, right? And he goes, "Aye, who's the guy? The pedo who used to jump about the map." And I went, "Fred the Weatherman." He went, "Fred the Weatherman." Dean Sullivan's demeanour changes, man. And he goes, "I need to go."
Wow.
"I need to go." And the taxi comes, lickety split, man. And then it cuts for him toasting his ICW, and then it cuts to him getting in a taxi because they had to get a last shot. The cameraman folk will go up there all right. You went, "Oh, for fuck's sake," ran there. He says, "God, see you later, Jimmy," for the side of the, I don't know, port side or something, down onto the road. And he's like that, waving into the taxi, gone, right? And I was like,
What's going on there?
Weird, man. Like, I was like, we were set up for a pure night out with Boot Scooting and Boogie and with Big Jimmy Corkill, man. Double den and went up that. And Grado looks it up. He's Wikipedia and he goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake." And he's like, "Was in a long-term relationship with?" And I went, "You're kidding."
No.
"Fred the Weatherman."
What?
Aye, mate. What? No, I'm not accusing
but
the gymster or anything,
what are
man.
the chances, man?
Mate, what are the odds? Why would they take us to that boat to reminisce about simpler times? I miss them.
I need to get out of here quick because they're going to start talking about it constant. Oh, mate.
Aye.
I can't believe what a turn of events.
We wouldn't, you know. Like, I think that was the full gambit or Fred chat. Like, we didn't really.
No,
I don't know anything else about him. The pedo on the boat, the map, the weather map. That's the start and the end of my knowledge of Fred the Weatherman. Remember the guy parachuted in the scud? There's my only other bit I hang about the map.
I need to go. I don't know what else these guys know. Maybe he thought that the whole TV show was a cover and it was just for that moment. But then you were about to dive into it.
But that was I regretted that because it screwed me out a night out with Jimmy, and I felt like
had that not
we made him feel a bit weird, and I was like, shite, man. But then he showed up to their show, so this was the setup for our show in Liverpool. And I says, "Can you do a surprise appearance?"
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this, man. So he showed back up and he was fine that night. And it was Jackie Polo's in the ring. He was going to badmouth Liverpool. And before he was backstage and he went, "So will I just pretend to hit you?" And Jackie's like, "Just fucking hit me, Jimmy. You're Dean Sullivan. What you got to do? I'm a wrestler. Just punch me in the face." So he goes, "No, Mark, I need you to know I'm going to be called Dean Sullivan when I go out." I went, "No connection to Brookside." I went, "Absolutely, mate. Don't you worry about it, right?" And I'm walking up to the curtain, right? And I go like that, right? Was that him? Got the crowd raging, he's battered the good guys, right? 3, 2, 1, hit his fucking music. Throw him through the curtain. I literally shove him through the curtain, mate. "Please welcome Jimmy Corkill." Brookside theme, mate. But I knew this was going to happen, but it was a gamble. This was a 50-50 gamble. The place, fuck. And look, mate, Jimmy Corkhill came out in a wrestling show and announced his save in the honour of Liverpool.
Yeah.
The play, mate, people are throwing pints in there, and he goes out of his flat cap, throws it into the crowd, and he's like, I'm back. I'm Jimmy Corkhill, right? Goes down, punches him, they're all celebrating me, him comes back, hugs me and all that. I'm like, thank fuck that worked. What a moment, man. But I was like, I don't want Dean Sullivan. I want the old Jimmy Corkhill, man.
That's a belter. They're both good, actually. The Bret Hart one's so weird, and then that's a fucking great
I've still not been able to figure that out. I had a time where I nearly went
Did
into a
he
fight.
put something in the sandwich?
I nearly went into a fight. I know. Come.
He just...
I nearly got into a fight with... had a lot of mayo in it. That's what made me think that. Dirty-minded. But I also nearly had a fight with Ric Flair once, you know. Aye. And Arn Anderson. I've nearly fought 50% of the Four Horsemen, but just what it is. Ric Flair was, I mean, it's very vindicating now that there's a lot of people who've got stories of nearly getting in fights with Ric Flair. I was like, it wasn't me. I swore for years, that was years ago, and I went, he started it. Right. He was the problem there. He tried to fight me.
Why would you got all these beefs with proper iconic wrestlers?
Because my problem is, mate, that some guys are a bit mouthy, and I just say stuff back. Because I'll just, if you got a batter me, what you got, fuck it. You know what I mean? See, I grew up I grew up getting battered. You know what I mean? If I was a 7-year-old in the backs, mate. You know what I mean? What you got to do to me?
Let's get your relationship one in, if we can as well.
Right.
Which is...
No, this was one that stuck in my head for years. For a couple of years at the time, and not now. Yeah. Because if this hadn't happened... I went and met my partner. Yeah. I went and I had my son. Been together for 18 years, you know what I mean? Or over 18 years now. So
this is a perfect example of something that can eat away at you, but then you go,
evaporates years later. Aye.
Brilliant.
And now I laugh about it, right? So it was Christmas Day, right? I was going out with this lassie, and we'd no long been going out, and I bought our stuff off Amazon again, or whatever, not eBay, or whatever one it was back then. It was just fucking years ago, right? And it was bought our stuff online, like clays and different shit. And I didn't know the sizes, and I got it too big. Now, if you've ever done that with a bird, man, it's a bad move, right? Yep. But I'm skint, I'm young, I'm staying in this fucking flat with my pals. I just think, I can't afford, and it's Christmas Eve by the time it arrives. Can't send it back and get a refund in time. I've no got the money. I've got 20 quid to my name. I can't go and get it. She's getting this wrapped up, bang.
We'll deal with it after.
Friday morning, phones me, and she comes up and gets it on Christmas Eve night. Friday morning, phones me. She's not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy, right? Don't ever get lassies clays, man. Just, at all, man. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Just leave it. It's not worth it, right? Anyway. Fast forward, right? Everything seems to be alright at the end of the phone call. My mate's family are away for Christmas. He's coming to my house for Christmas dinner with my family, my mum and all that. Then we go back to my house, which is kind of like a student house at the time. And we proceed to get full of eckies, because it's Christmas, right? We get full of eckies, but we don't go out, because there's nowhere to go. So we just play football manager, right?
Of course.
Full of eckies, right? And bevy and all that. Just even looking back, I'm going, what was I thinking, right? But you're young, and you know what I mean. You're only young once, man. So we're out on that, and he's managing Rangers, and I'm managing Partick Thistle. Now it just so happens that we get to a point in the game where we're playing each other in the cup, right? It's a big fucking thing. Derby, mate. You know what I mean? Glasgow Derby. It's no the same as the Celtic and all that, but it's a big fucking deal. So he's going, why don't we put on your suit jackets to make it feel bigger?
I was just about to joke that you might put your suits on there.
So I'm like that, right? And I go in and get my suits, and I go, right, so I'll give him one, the nicer one, right, and I put on the other one that's got like elbow patches on it, which is a kind of dying thing now.
Yeah, I
don't see that now, right? But it was fucking a bag of shite, this suit, right? Proper Afarac number. I gave him the nicer one. Buzzer goes. I've been... It's her, right? Pop by to see me. The worst time ever.
That's bad timing.
I open the door, right? I'm eating spaghetti out the pot. Out the fucking pot, right off the stove, man, right? I'm wearing shorts, basketball shorts, flip-flops, a suit jacket with leather patches on the elbows, right? And she goes, what's this? And I'm thinking she's meaning, why are you wearing the shite suit jacket and he's wearing the good one? No, she was meaning, what is all this?
What is happening here?
What is all this? You're full of ickies.
What is this madness?
You're eating soup, clean out the apartment. Like, what's going on? I went, no, you don't understand, man. I'm wearing the shite one because I'm part of Thistle and they're a smaller team, right? There was logic to it, right?
Actually explaining it.
And he's got the better suit because the Rangers have got more money than part of Thistle. I went, how you been? Waited, leaning for a kiss. She went like that with her hand on my chest. And went, I'm done. And walked out. And I never saw her again.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But do you know what? We bet Rangers. And I had a fucking great night, mate. I had a great night, man. I was wired for sound, man. I don't even think we had a laptop. I don't even know if we were playing Football Manager. We just been like that.
Do you know what I love about that is she's got a great story probably as well. She must tell people the story of turning up and seeing that image and being like, no.
I often think years later did she put on the telly in one of the documentaries or something that was on. She goes, "That's that fucking guy. It's the guy who was full of eckies eating soup, cleaning out the apartment."
Mark, I feel like you've got a ton of stories. We'll have to get you back on, and only for time constraints, we're going to wrap up here. But you've told us potential projects that are upcoming here with India. Is there anything else immediately upcoming you want to plug or tell us about? You've obviously got your own podcast as well.
The Heavy Good podcast is every Saturday with Neil Bratchpiece, who's been on here before, and my other mate Bryson, and it's a good laugh. It's just a couple of mates shooting the shit. And in terms of shows and stuff, I've got August 2nd at Braehead Arena, Clan Wrestling 3, Clash of the Clans. It's a family wrestling show. It's a lot of fun on during the day. So you're up the road at a decent hour. And, you know what I mean, a lot of your favourites will be there. Grado, Jester, Wolfgang, a few guys that are in WWE and stuff like that. So definitely worth getting down to. Value for money, and your Waynes will absolutely love it. And that's the immediate things. I might have a wee play it on more that I'm in soon, but that's not been confirmed yet. So maybe the next time I'll plug that.
Super. No, it's been great hearing the stories and behind the scenes stuff of the wrestling as well. So thanks for coming on. Thanks to everyone for listening and watching. Thanks to the Stand Comedy Club, Sean Stables, Chris Thorburn. We'll see you next time. Cheers.